Hi, I'm Rula from Change Your Life Now. Today I wanted to talk about trauma. Trauma is a word that is derived from the Greek language, which means injury, and it has a physical connotation. It's when you bump yourself and you have an injury, you cut yourself, you break a bone, you damage something. Trauma is something that happens to us. It happens to our body, and at a physical level, it sits in us at a chemical level. When we look at situations, circumstances, events that happen to us, instead of being in that victim mode and saying, oh, this happened to me, this trauma happened to me, we need to look at it at a deeper level, not just at a physical level, but at a deep level in terms of your emotions and from an energy point of view, which I always link it to spirituality. What am I learning from this experience? Why did this happen to me? Not to become the victim to say this happened to me and my whole life I have carried that story, and I've used it to justify being unwell, justifying mental health issues. It's repeating something again and again and again, and you're basically looping it. You're still reinforcing it in your body. So what we have to realize is that this is a physical situation that has occurred, whether it's abuse, whether it's moving countries, whether it's losing someone that you love dearly, any event that happens physically to us, and how we interpret it is what makes the difference between our well-being and our repeating the story again and again and again. Now, habits are created by repetition. So if you do something more than 3 times, it becomes a habit. It becomes concreted in your neurological system. It creates a pathway between the brain via the nerves at a physical level. So trauma happens from a physical level first, and then it goes into the brain. So we go to that pain. We go to that nervous reaction that says pain. So even if it wasn't a physical cut or break, it was a painful event that happens to us. So understanding that this has happened for a reason, it's very hard. As humans, we are very, very programmed not to be able to process things that happen to us, situations that happen to us. We become the victims. The weakness takes over. And so we're not empowered enough to process it and to deal with it. We go into that weak state. And the systems have made us relive that experience again and again and again. The truth is that we have to look at it from outside of us, as if it was somebody else that is experiencing this trauma. And we have to look at it with our wisdom in our older years, with life's experiences, with understandings and learnings, to look at it from outside of ourselves and to process it and to say, okay, so what was really going on? How did this affect you? And for example, in my hypnotherapy techniques and kinesiology techniques, we get to look at the little boy who was abused by his school teacher, the little boy who was taken advantage by an older person physically and emotionally, blackmailed, programmed, abused. And you look at it from outside of you, and then you're not personally involved. You are observing from outside of that little boy, for example, and you're noticing that it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his doing. He wasn't naughty. He didn't do anything wrong. He was programmed. He was abused. It was something that happened to him. And when you're looking at it from outside, you can actually process it and work through it and say, okay, so what have I learned from this? And that's when you start breaking through the healing. That's when you start understanding self-worth, understanding your programming, understanding why things happened, that it was based on that person's feelings and emotions and his need to dominate, his need to. So bullies are hurt people who hurt, right? So someone who abuses someone who hurts someone is probably because they've been hurt. And along the line of generations, we know now that abuse has been going on for many, many years, especially with children. It's been going on for centuries. But we're now becoming aware because we are evolving. We are waking up to trauma. We are waking up to abuse. before we were so suppressed and programmed. No, don't say anything, it's a secret. No, don't do anything, you've got to behave like this because this is the right thing to do. The church, the programming, the families, it's all programming. And for us to be able to look at each situation from outside of us, to be able to assess it and understand the learnings from it. So when you become a victim, you're possibly not aware of it, that you are a victim. You're repeating the same story again and again. You're locking it into your neurology, again, going on that same pathway, the same pathway. I was abused, I was hurt, I was let down, I lost, I this, I that, all those things. Whereas if you process them one step at a time, one event at a time, and clear away the belief systems around that event, and look at it from outside of you as the best therapist that you are, your own therapist, and to look at it from outside and to say, well, what did I learn from this? And why am I still continuing the story? The reason why you're continuing the story is because you've been repeating it again and again and again, and it's locked into your nervous system. And that is what eventually will cause disease. It eventually breaks down the cells. So every emotion is connected to an organ, it's connected to a muscle, etc. And it causes buildup of cells in that space. So liver, for example, is anger. It's connected to anger, deep anger. So much anger that you just bile, gallbladder, frustration, right? Lungs, sadness, grief. We can't breathe. Heart. We have heart problems, blood problems, circulation problems because of grief, deep grief. So it's very important on your healing journey that you go to the original, or as many situations that have caused trauma in your life, and one by one process them from outside of you. And that's why kinesiology and hypnotherapy help so well, because we can't think of it logically. The logical mind is just the programmed pathway, the concreted pathway that says, no, you got to do this because you'll feel safe. You've got to behave like this because you'll feel safe. Your brain is just trying to keep you safe. And so what we need to do is to allow the body, that energy system, the soul within you, to do the healing. I feel that because this is something that I have been through personally, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping my clients uncover the layers of their trauma, uncover the layers of their belief systems and their programming. And I believe that if you empower yourself as an individual, you cannot change anything outside of you. You cannot change the systems, you cannot change rules. All you can do is empower yourself, heal your trauma, and you will see your life will be so much better. You will be able to have abundance. You will be able to have good relationships. You will have everything that you need because you are now loving yourself. Everything boils down to how much do you love yourself? Self-worth, self-love, self-empowerment. And that's my message for you today. Start loving yourself. Thanks.